It's the fake news. I don't want to be accused of anything. But what it means is they're trying to steal the election from the Republicans. That's what it means. In a very, very nice way, I will tell you, they are trying to steal the election, just like they did it last time with spying, and we caught them, and that included President Obama, and that included, let's be nice, Biden. This could only happen in North Carolina. But that included them, and they got caught. And then somebody said, well, what are you going to do? Well, we can't attack a president. Oh, I see. If it was me. They said, we can't attack a president. We caught him. We caught him cold. And they say, we can't attack. He was at meetings talking about it. And by the way, this was spying before and after. And I think it's a disgrace to our country. I think we can never let that happen again. But now they're doing something that in a certain way is more dangerous because it's more effective. They spied on my campaign. You know what they found? Nothing. But this is big stuff. This is stealing millions of votes, and it's going to be very hard. Now,
on this episode of Just Informed Talk, I interview the founder and president of the American Priority Conference, and it's happening again this year in Miami at Trump National. We're going to talk about who's going to be speaking there. We're going to make some major announcements in this interview that you guys are going to want to hear about. Plus, we're going to give you all the different ways you can sign up and get involved if you want to meet me down in Miami this upcoming October for this incredible festival. You guys are going to want to check this out. Welcome back to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I'm your host, Craig. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, a very close friend of mine. He's an amazing dude and the founder and president of the American Priority Conference that's coming up in Miami. We are going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Welcome to the show, Alex Phillips.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure. So today we're actually doing a special interview. You're in Washington, D.C. as we speak at the Trump Hotel, and you were around for last night's speech. Now, I know you didn't actually go down to the White House, but you were watching it there and you saw what was happening. Really crazy stuff going on. All the videos on Twitter seem to show that people were getting harassed and these violent mobs were just attacking people left and right. So tell us what it's like from DC. You're on the ground there. What was it like last night for you watching the speech? And tell us tell the people out there what it's like there right now.
Well, you probably heard us talk about how American Priority is really focused on free speech, and we're the first people that feel that folks that need to talk about their dissatisfaction with policy, dissatisfaction with the government, dissatisfaction with social issues. We're very supportive of that. But what we saw last night had no resemblance to what's going on or what should be going on in our country today. We decided to watch the acceptance speech from the Trump Hotel because we were relatively concerned about being, part of the crowd out there. And we watched all the speakers leading up to President Trump. We watched President Trump speak. The crowd inside of the Trump Hotel was very excited, obviously, probably all Trump supporters, I would say. And but they really liked what he had to say. They liked what all the people had to say, and they liked the message that was coming from all the people that spoke. We weren't talking about bashing America. We weren't saying how bad these things are. Obviously, everybody knows that there are always room for improvement in any government laws, policy, anything that's going on in our country. There's always room for improvement, but we're all focused on the fact that, as a people, as a nation, we all have the freedoms and the equality to make change as we feel that is needed to be changed. But it's all basically supposed to be peaceful. We're not a banana republic. And what we saw yesterday when we left the Trump Hotel, which was a frightening thing, to be honest with you, was not what our country is about. We're not about violence. We're not about harassing people. When we left the hotel for a moment, we went across the street to go to another place and hang out with some of our other friends that couldn't get in the Trump Hotel. And when we came back, that was the time when folks were getting harassed that were coming from the speech, from the Rose Garden last night. That's when the Rand Pauls and and the various other political people were coming back and getting harassed by Antifa or Black Lives Matter or whatever we want to call them today. I just call them rioters and insurrections and just people that are uncivilized, to be perfectly honest. That's the way I feel about it, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in getting up in somebody's face and threatening their wife and threatening their life and pushing them around and encroaching on their rights and liberties to express my opinion.
It's un-American. It's really what it is. And it's sad to see. I mean, I know videos I was watching. I'm out here in California, as my audience knows. But I was watching it, and I saw on Twitter, as I'm watching this speech, it's such a contrast. You see President Trump talking about the American exceptionalism, how we're a country that is going to get even more united, and we stand behind law enforcement. While you have these rioters, like you said, I usually call them violent leftist racists, because that's what they are, and for the most part, the ones who are violent, at least. And they're out there with a guillotine, with an effigy of President Trump, doing a mock execution. And today I saw something interesting online where the Secret Service was even talking about how there was a law that was made, I guess, on this day a long time ago, that it was illegal to assassinate the president. Imagine that. You have to make a law for that. But so you guys are there, you're in the middle of it, but tell us about the positive side from what you saw. Like how do you see what President Trump's message? How do you see President Trump's message and what he was talking about last night in relation to, what are the priorities for America going forward? You know what I mean?
Well, there were so many subtexts going on as far as different people's perspective, but the thing that came to me, and this is the basis for our country and why people are all created equal, why, it doesn't matter if you're black, whether you're white, whether you're yellow or pink, or whatever color you might be today, or if you don't even maybe some people don't identify with a color and you're just an invisible person walking around, but the bottom line is that the laws that govern us define the parameters for us as a people, what we can, what we can't do, what we should, what we shouldn't do. It helps us understand exactly where we all exist within the framework of this country. And I think the message that he was focusing on, and a lot of the subtext for much of the messaging, was about the fact that laws are designed for the people of this country, not for the black people, not for the white people, not for any color people. They are designed for all the people in this country. I think that was basically the biggest message that came across from his speech and from a lot of the speeches. And I think that people have taken advantage of and amplified things for political reasons. And we ought to understand, and that, obviously people that get into politics do it for a variety of reasons. You've got some folks that do it because they want to help their constituency. Let's say, if they are the representative of California, for example, they may have originally planned on getting involved, 20, 30, 40 years ago in politics to make California better. But over time, the message and the intent of what these people have done has become corrupted by special interests and policymakers who want to have a policy go this way versus that way for special interests. And we've all lost touch with all these people have lost touch with what the purpose is of government. And I like to remember a story that my wife and I had a discussion many years ago. This was before the 2016 election, when there was just the primaries and candidates were talking about things. And one of the candidates had said something, and my wife agreed with it. Yeah, I agree with it too. And then she said, maybe he was just saying that because that's what I want to hear. And when you look at the two different candidates that are now running, Biden and Trump, the one thing that everybody can agree is that sometimes Trump just says what's on his mind, and it's very raw, but it's very real. And you might agree with it, but that's what he said. And that comes back to his other message, promises made and the promises kept. But when you look at Biden and other candidates like him from the past, where is their messaging come from? Why are they saying the things that they're going to say to you? And it has to do with trying to identify with a subcategory of people in this country that are not happy about something. So racism is a very, for lack of a better term, black and white issue that a lot of people are unhappy for whatever reason they are unhappy. And when you start telling them that they're unhappy and their situation in life is not good because they are black and they are treated badly, then all of a sudden they get angry about that and they want to stop or change or fight back against whatever it is that's making. But it's not. I think people have taken advantage of minorities throughout the history of this country, and I think that a lot of people are still taking advantage of minorities, but they're doing it in ways that are very subtle and very secretive in some cases, and they're tricking people. I think that the video that they ran last night with New Yorkers that were in charge of public housing, that was the rawest, most real statements. You can't ask those people to fabricate a story. They're talking about their lives. They're talking about their community, and they're talking about how Democrats, specifically Bill de Blasio, had taken advantage of them over these years and didn't really care about them. And they become a source of income and a way to spend money so that special interest or a lobbyist or your buddy can benefit from it. It becomes a problem, and you lose the meaning of what being in government and being responsible for the public, your constituency, means. And
absolutely. And it's funny, let me just interject here. For the people that don't know, what Alex is referring to is a part of the RNC last night was a video message from, I think, people who identified as actually Democrats, who were talking about the fact that they've been taken advantage of, right? They've had their legitimate grievances exploited by politicians who don't care about them. And that's kind of the Democrat game plan in a lot of ways. They're master manipulators. And I think, like you said, the one thing that we all agree on about President Trump is that he speaks the truth. He tells you how it is, and he follows through. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. And that's what I think we all respect about President Trump more than, I don't know, maybe anything else beside I think, his embracing God and bringing God back into the equation is very powerful and important as well. So, and another thing that I was thinking of when you were talking is just about justice in general, and it's blind, right? There's a reason why the justice, is holding the scales of justice, and there's a blindfold on, because it's not about what race you are, it's about justice and law and order. And these are the things that I think all of us as Americans can agree on. Now, of course, there's other issues that we can get into the weeds on with that, but to kind of move forward, let's talk briefly about, you were telling me before that you were watching, Fox News and CNN simultaneously in their coverage. And you're hearing these reports about how less people watched President Trump's speech. Talk briefly about that and what you saw as an observation.
Well, I didn't watch much of the RNC this week, or the DNC for that matter, live. I watched it on YouTube. Because I just wanted to watch it at my time. They basically spliced it down to the various speakers, so I could watch the ones that I was interested in hearing from, or if there was something that they said that got my attention, I'll listen to their entire speech. But a lot of folks are like that. They watch them on their phones, they watch them on their computers, and the fact that they went there with the story. The story. When you Google it up, the story is all these outlets are saying that, about half the amount of people watched President Trump's acceptance speech live on TV versus Biden's. And I'm like, well, so, that doesn't mean anything really, because, who's watching TV anymore? And how do they even know who's watching the TV? Where do those numbers come from? Cable TV is not reporting what you're watching. To the people that get there, they know, I guess more today than they used to. But how do they know what people are watching? Sometimes something is on, like let's say at the airport. Are the people at the airport watching Biden accepting his nomination party? I don't know, but that's a lot of people watching it. That's
CNN. They buy those views, so it's kind of a skewed statistic anyway. Plus, I think the engagement online, like you're talking about, was so much higher than for the DNC. But regardless of that, I tend to agree with you on pretty much everything you're saying. So let's talk though about this amazing conference coming up in Miami. I'm super excited. I hope my audience starts getting excited. If you want to meet me and Alex and a bunch of other amazing people, you need to start listening to Alex here. He's going to explain what's going on. We're talking about the American Priority Conference 2020. It's going to be happening in Miami at Trump National. And we did this last year, and it's only going to get bigger. I remember last year, the people that were there, we had James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. We had Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch. We had Donald Trump Jr. giving an amazing speech. We had everyone there, Charlie Kirk. We had a multitude of different speakers who, Sarah Sanders was there. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she is amazing. Just so many awesome people. And I think this year is going to be equally awesome, if not more. So Alex, tell the people about this conference coming up.
This is our third year doing this conference. We did this first year in DC, and then we decided to go out to look for other places, and we picked Miami, specifically Doral, because it's beautiful weather. Obviously, even in October, it's going to be a nice weather. They've got a beautiful resort there, and we're also going to have an extra day. So we basically every year learn what people are interested in. And it's also, we've got to stay topical. We're not necessarily just in the business of, teaching people how to do, some type of task. We want to, educate people and give people an opportunity, again, with the free speech theme, to talk about these topics, but also not just have a 15-second soundbite or a little 120 word message, 20 character message. We want to give some of these speakers an opportunity to really dig deep and answer questions to the public. And it's going to be covered by the media as well. So a lot of this stuff will go out to folks on, offline. But the thing is that we're gonna have an extra day this year. And last year we had to cram an awful lot of stuff in 2 days. This year we're going to have an extra day, so we've got a little bit more room to play with. We're going to start off the week on the 8th with the favorite pool party, where a lot of our VIPs and all the attendees that are there can hang out at the pool. The kids will be there. It'll be a lot of fun. It's usually really good weather. We'll probably have some entertainment, some live music, some DJ music, maybe some other things going on we've been talking about. We're still working out some of the details with folks. But then that night's going to be our Priority Pass party, where we're actually going to have a small party for the folks that have registered early, right? The Priority Pass is basically it's the same as a general admission or a VIP pass, except it's for all the early adopters who bought tickets early. That's probably going to be cutting off next week. So if you're thinking about that, you're going to end up paying the same amount of price for a general admission ticket. So if you want to be part of that special party that night, it's going to be very small, about 100, 150 folks, including the VIPs and yourself, of course. Some of our speakers will be there.
Let's make it clear to the audience. So I'm going to leave links in the description of this video that you guys can go to. You can even do it right now and then come back and watch the rest of this interview. But go sign up now, get that Priority Pass. Then you can come to these events that are just for you, right? If you sign up now and you get your tickets and you arrange your travel and get down there, they have links to, get you into the hotel, to get you a room and everything. So go to the link in the description of this video and sign up for it, because I want to see everyone in my audience who can make it down there. And, but Alex, I'll let you keep going. And maybe if we're lucky, you can tell us about some of the people that are going to be speaking, and you can tell the audience about what they can expect when they get there.
Well, we're going to have a mixture of, panels and speakers, but we're also going to do the other stuff, the fun stuff. We're going to have a movie. We have a couple of movies, actually. One of them is going to be the world premiere of Dinesh D'Souza's new movie, Trump Card. And so that's going to go out on DVD, online as well that night, but we're going to have it basically the Friday night, the 9th. You'll be able to watch it live for the first time worldwide at the Trump Doral. And then following that, they're going to have an after party. So you get to socialize with folks, get to meet Dinesh and some of the other people that he brings that were part of the filming. of that, but it's going to be pretty exciting. And I think we may be in that movie. Are we in that movie? They filmed last year at our event at AmpFest. So I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But we may be in the movie. We'll see. I guess for the first time on the 9th. But it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have another movie that's going to be more of an educational type documentary called 1986, The Act. Yeah, 1986, The Act. So if you want to Google that up, there was an act that went into place on 1986 that basically gave the pharmaceutical industry shield from litigation if they make a vaccine that, I don't know, causes a problem to you or your children. They can't be held liable for it. So this is going to be a pretty good documentary about that. We're going to have some very interesting people that are also going to be affiliated with that movie. And we'll be making those announcements of who those people are this week. But you're not going to want to miss them. There are going to be a lot of doctors that are going to be there to talk about it, and some folks that of names that you've heard of from the past that go all the way back to the 60s. But they'll be there. We're also going to have some doctors that you've probably heard about online that have been censored a lot. I know a lot of folks have been wondering why so many doctors are getting censored when they talk about that dreaded thing that we can't talk about right now. But I think
and that's something that I know exactly what you're talking about, and we're gonna it's gonna be incredible to see what happens with you guys bringing all these incredible speakers together to educate the people. So again, I got to reiterate, look, if you guys are watching this, you need to go keep updated with his website, the American Priority Conference website. I'll leave links to it in the description. And they're going to make these announcements, and you guys are going to love who they're having to come speak. And I just want to kind of switch it up, though. Speaking of the thing that we can't speak about, right? How have you been doing as far as working with the people down at Trump National in Doral with getting all this orchestrated around this crazy pandemic and everything? Tell the people about that. So if anyone's kind of worried about that, what have you been doing to take extra precautions and just make it, a safe event for everyone?
Well, here's an interesting, discussion point. So, obviously we're basically a small business. If it comes right down to it, we're like any kind of other small business. And the Trump family, the media has been trying to portray them as being some kind of aristocracy or monarchy. But working with them at the Trump National, and even here at the Trump International, where we are today, we're going to be talking to them about some other things that we're planning. It's really been working with like a family-owned business. Yes, it's a pretty big family-owned business, but yet that same feeling of caring. And they have been incredible to work with. I must say, I was very concerned about all this. We were just kicking off our event back in March, and the first 3 or 4 days, it was, people were registering like gangbusters, and we were very excited. And then, dun dun dun. Shut down the economy. President Trump makes the announcement, and it was very, very upsetting. We've had to cancel a lot of events this year. The only event we've actually been able to have this year was the one in South Dakota. Thank God for Christine Noem. She's the governor there for that state, and they handled everything very well, and they were great to work with. We were there for July the 4th and July 3rd. So we watched President Trump speak at Mount Rushmore from my laptop, but we did it from a hill with a bunch of our friends. We were basically up high looking down at all the protesters, and we saw everything happen that day. And I was like, this is such a travesty. It's unnecessary. It's causing division in our country that doesn't need to be there. I mean, I'm going to be the first person to say there's a lot of reasons for people to affect change in government. I've spent a good portion of my life in industry advocacy trying to make change in government for small business. So, don't call me, an activist. I'm just a guy doing what needs to be done. I'm not going to go out there and start blockading roads and parking vans and keeping people from going to work or enjoying their vacation or spending time with their family. That's not how this works. We don't live in that kind of world. We may have lived in that kind of world.
Here's the thing. It's so true what you're saying, right? So you guys had this amazing event in South Dakota. For everyone out there in the audience who's not aware, they went there and you guys were covering it, but you saw the protesters coming. And the one thing that's so un-American about these protests is them trying to, hinder and to take away other people's rights to freely move in society and to go and to have their conversations. It really is a disgusting display of, in my opinion, anti-American, just violence, rhetoric, and et cetera. But so for all the audience out there watching, it seems as though, some people are hesitant. Even I have family members who are hesitant to make travel plans with all of this craziness going around, because even whether they think one way or the other about this whatever, the thing we can't talk about, the C-19, but regardless of how they think about it, I think it's worthwhile to make your travel plans and to go down to Miami and to celebrate this conference, because it's going to be a celebration of free speech. It's going to be a celebration of free thought. And it's going to be an exchange of ideas that has to take place for our country to grow, because you're going to have people who may disagree with each other from all walks of life coming together to discuss the most important issues of our time. And it's the discussion that the protests you're referring to are aimed at stopping. So I think that it's so important. Go down, I'm going to keep saying it, shameless plug. Go into the link of the description of this video, click it, sign up, go book your airfare, go plan your trip, get your hotel room, and come down and see us in Miami. So Alex, tell us what we can expect otherwise down in Miami.
Well, speaking of South Dakota, Kristi Noem is planning on being there. So she's going to be one of our speakers that's going to talk about, her philosophy on how she dealt with the pandemic and how she trusted the people, her constituency to be responsible and act, appropriately, and why, she was a very good example of a successful state that has weathered the storm very well. We're going to have her speak. We're going to have, like I said, Dinesh speak. We've got some folks coming about vaccines. We're going to also talk about some other issues that, let's just call it a blast from the past, I guess you could say, that, anytime I talk to my friend who's supposedly a Republican out in Washington State, he says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you brought that up again." But Benghazi has never been put to bed. And so we're going to have Charles Woods and Nick No there. Those two gentlemen have intimate knowledge about what was going on during that time in Benghazi. Obviously, Charles's son was killed protecting the embassy there, and Nick No was involved in a lot of aspects of communications, and so he's got a lot of insight. And I think it's an issue that still hasn't been quite put to bed yet. We still don't know what was going on there from our government and the folks that people want to know more about it. So we're going to be hitting that topic. We're going to be hitting the Russiagate, Obamagate. We're going to have some pretty good speakers there from last year. George Papadopoulos is going to be there, and we may have some other people that you might want to see there. We just can't announce them just yet, if you know what I mean.
Whoa, this is big
Roger
news,
Stone,
ladies and gentlemen.
Roger Stone is not one of those people that we can't mention. He's definitely going to be there. Last year he was there, and he was still under his gag order from the courts, so he couldn't really talk freely about things. But Roger Stone is a good friend of ours. We've spent a lot of time, trying to do what we can to help him during his bad times, and now he's starting to come out of that. He's definitely going to be there, and watch out. Roger's going to be ungagged and ready to talk about a lot of things.
Wow. So what's so amazing? If you guys aren't motivated to go sign up for this conference today after that, I don't know what's going to get you, except it seems as though Alex has some bigger surprises in store, which you guys should pay attention to him. We'll give you links to his social media and the websites so you can keep up to keep up with what's happening. There's going to be major announcements, right, Alex? We're going to have big names coming up. So it's just, look, We need to get as many patriots involved in this conference because it's a conversation that we have to go and engage in and listen to these speakers and do what we know is right, which is come together for this country. It's a priority, right? It's an American priority. So,
well, that's true. Yeah. And so, but the thing is that, unlike a lot of other conferences that folks have been to, I say that we're not in competition with these other conferences like CPAC and whatnot. The thing about us is that we're trying to maintain the grassroots nature. So that means people that are coming from all over the country are meeting new people. And so I've met a lot of folks at our conferences. You've met new people. Everybody meets some people and they create these networks. But the other thing too that's kind of interesting about our conference is that you get to meet some of these people that you only see on TV. Like, for example, Matt Gaetz is going to be there. He's going to be part of what we're doing there. We're going to have candidates that are running all over the country against some very, very nasty Democrat politicians. We're going to see Laura Loomer there. We're going to see folks running against, all these different candidates. But basically, these are grassroots people that really understand what it's like to be a citizen in our country and not part of the elite that control things.
You heard it here first, folks. I mean, this is going to be an opportunity to network and meet these people face to face too. Like Alex just said, a lot of these people you may only see on social media, you may only see on the internet or on TV, but this is a chance for you to come, get registered, go get your hotel room, book your flights, do whatever you have to do, make your travel plans, and you can go meet these people face to face and have a conversation and tell them what you think, because they need your input. They need you to stand up and talk to them in a very, in the most American way we can, right? To have a conversation with each other and talk about what's the priority for our nation moving forward. So what an incredible blessing to have you on the show, Alex. I know that myself and our whole audience here are praying for your success. And if you haven't gone and clicked that link yet, I don't know what's wrong with you. You should probably go do it and sign up right now.
Let me mention a couple more people that are going to be there that you probably, your audience might be interested in hearing from. So one of the aspects of what we do, obviously, some of the folks that come to our conference are already elevated. So if you look at, the Epic Times and a lot of these other organizations, they're pretty high up, OAN, those types of folks. But some of these other YouTubers that, like yourself, have been getting censored or demonetized. We like to bring some of what I consider some of the up and comings, okay? And we've got a couple of people that are going to be coming that.
Hold on, let me tell a story before you use it. I got to tell the audience this story because it's so important. The first American Priority Conference, the inaugural one, I went to, and do you know who I met the first 5 minutes I was there, who was the nicest gentleman I ever met in my life, who became an incredible person? I mean, he was probably already incredible. Scott Pressler. If you guys don't know Scott Pressler and his amazing work, he was literally working as a volunteer, I think, at the first inaugural American Priority Conference. And I remember meeting him, and he's been a good friend since. And I'm sure he'll be there, as will many, many others. So it's like Alex is saying here, you're going to meet people that are going to end up having a huge impact, and you can be there a part of that. So keep going, Alex. I'm sorry, I had to interject that because it was so, I think
we've got a couple of personalities that are going to be there. One of them, she's relatively new to the internet world. She doesn't do a YouTube channel, but she does do videos, and that's her Twitter handle is Tina40. Tina40. She's a woman from New York. She's got a little bit of a way about herself, is the way she communicates, and some people don't like the way she talks, and some people appreciate the way she talks. She comes from New York. She's got a beef with Cuomo, I guess you could say, and she has no problem illustrating it. But there's a lot about her story that people don't know. They just see her online and going off on Cuomo and supporting President Trump. She's a bodybuilder. She's a beautiful woman. She's a wife. She lives in New York. She's got a lot of important things to talk about, but she's been having a little bit of a problem in New York, and she wants to come talk about it. Basically, her civil liberties have been infringed upon on many levels. And so she's got a very common story. We also are going to have a gentleman who runs the Conservative Resurgence channel. Very, very interesting storyteller. He does YouTube videos, sort of like you, more focused on, topical events that folks are interested in, but it got a good way about him. But we're also going to have a gentleman from the Iraq Veteran 8888 YouTube channel who's focused on, Second Amendment issues. He talks mostly about instructional stuff, educational stuff when it comes to firearms, but he also interjects, politics into his channel every once in a while. He's been having troubles with demonetization and getting his channel basically censored by YouTube. And it's not because of the politics, it's just because, it's a gun channel, and there's a lot of people that are interested in guns. Guns are not a political thing. They're just a thing, right? People are into guns for whatever reason,
Well,
and
it's guns aren't evil. So it's people who use them in an evil way are evil. So,
yeah,
look,
we're gonna have folks like them that we're gonna be, so you get to see some what I consider YouTube or internet celebrities that are not, superstars per se on a world scale or national scale, but they're folks that are out there doing this thing and are trying to, be the alternative media. So, they're all doing their thing in a different way. You do yours way, everybody does their thing their way. And we're going to have these people there, and they're going to get an opportunity to meet some of our speakers as well, and report back to their constituency on their channels. But you're going to get a chance to meet people, and I think a lot of people would like to meet the people behind some of these channels, and talk to them one-on-one, because that's an important thing, is having a communication.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is just we're just listing about 1,000 reasons for everyone out there to go get registered, come down, enjoy the event. Look, it's such a blessing to have you on the show, Alex. And, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now, but I have to say, there's one thing that stands out to me about your conferences, as I've been to all of them now, is that you are engaged. You're engaged with everyone there all the time. And if you go and get a ticket right now, I can guarantee you that Alex is a very accessible person. So when you're at the conference, you'll see him and you can stop him and say, hey, Alex, I think this, or I think that. And you'll be able to see all these different people who like we talked about, YouTubers and politicians and, celebrities in some cases. You'll be able to see them and have a conversation. And that's really the beauty of it all. And I got to mention, you picked the best, probably one of the nicest places in the country, Trump National down in Doral. It's a beautiful resort. It's an amazing time. So look, make your travel plans, get your tickets, get your hotel rooms, use the links in the description of this video to do it. And it's going to be a great time. I can't wait to see you all down there. Alex, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, right.
You can use closing words for the audience out there.
Yeah, you can use the links. You can use the links in your YouTube channel, but if somehow you forget and don't click on that link and you just go to AmericanPriority.com, use the discount code JUSTINFORMED to get a $45 discount off of the registration fee. So that's what the links will give you as well. But if you just forget the links and you just go to AmericanPriority.com, make sure you use that promo code to get yourself a nice discount. And I hope to see a lot of folks there. I'm very accessible via Twitter. I'm at AlexPHSL. We've also got the AmpFest_USA Twitter account that you can communicate with us on. And looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Well, God bless you, Alex. And like he said, use the coupon code JUSTINFORMEDNEWS. If you just go to AmericanPriority.com, get that $45 discount. I can't wait to see all of you guys there. But God bless you, Alex. We'll talk again soon. Maybe we'll have you on the channel again if we have more announcements of new speakers. All right?
Right on.
All right. Take care. God bless.